Alrighty, guys and girls. We are going to do a Civ tier list, alright? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. It's about time. It's about time now. New patches come. And honestly, there's been so freaking much stuff changed overall. Even though you could say, like, oh, this Civ only got this and this Civ only got that. In terms of the switch up we've had, it's been massive, absolutely massive, because before you would very easily say something like these two are the top, they get banned all the time, people that let either one of them through would lose. But we've definitely switched things up. Now, it's early days. This tier list might be too soon. Might be too soon, because we've had literally like 2 tournament days shown on it. We've got another tournament later on today. Just more tournaments in general. And I'm genuinely, truly excited, because I there's some things that I'm just like, where do I put you? Where do I put you? Alright. I'm almost tempted to go from like left to right here, but we'll see how this goes. China. I'm almost tempted to put like a lot on S tier, but is it fair? I think China is very good, but I'm going to put China on A tier for now. I think China before, one of their weaknesses was the fact that they were so predictable. Like they were so predictable, and it was like you were so forced to go 2TC song every game. And they were good on water. They've always been good on water. That got nerfed a tiny bit. But ever since that patch where it was like your Imperial officials, you can make them from the academy. And also they're significantly cheaper now. I think China's good. Like if I think about matchups where China could maybe be a bit... I try and look at this list and I'm like, I think China for the most part can hold its own. Like H3 will be tricky, but it's always been tricky. Maybe English can also be a little bit of a thorn in your side. And there's certain matchups like Mali and their power spike can be pretty hard, but China don't have to play 2TC anymore. It's really cool. Alright, Abbasid. I feel so like, where the frick do you put Abbasid right now? From being literally like one of the bottom picked civs, it's now doing very well. Like, do I say it's... I actually don't know. Because... is it better than China? Maybe. Thank you. A little bit of Marine Lord interruption, but thank you very much. I think I'm going to put it... like, I almost want to put it on S tier, because it's like, what do I put on S tier? If not Abbasid. I'm going to put Abba here. But I want to put it higher. No, I'm going to put it on S for now. In fact, no. I can't put it on S just because I know there's more to come. So Abbasid literally, yeah. For now, again, this is like really early days. Like Abbasid used to get slam dunked, and I mean slam dunked by nearly everything. It's like against English, that prolonged feudal, they die. English hit castle a bit faster, they lose to the armor chads, they lose to the, and that's against English that was very much a mid-tier civ. Kind of like a sniper civ for some of them, but it used to lose, like Abbasid used to lose against like Delhi, Malian, Ayabid, Rus, Ottoman, you name it. Like it just got slam dunked. Whereas now, with the Ottoman slight nerf, they stand toe-to-toe with Ottoman. Totally fine with 2TC. I think they do pretty good against quite a few civs that I mentioned there, so I'm genuinely excited. Like the change that they had was literally fresh food stuff goes onto your mill now, so you have 1 extra villager that you wouldn't normally have, which every minute that goes on, it's 40 extra resources basically, and they have the golden age still with 15% extra. Their villagers are still cheaper. Their fertile crescent buff, that's the one that makes all your economy buildings cheaper, had like a 5% buff, so not even that big. Like a lot of the plays that you see, they go like military into culture wing, so they don't even use that. I like it a lot because I like military into eco wing more often than not. Um, but yeah, it's all of a sudden Abbasid's back on the menu. Maybe it's like with maps being involved, like Lipany being back and stuff. Like they're a very good pick for that. But yeah, Abbasid, super decent. Now English got one of the funniest changes, maybe the most unexpected change ever. Because I think Abbey of Kings is maybe a landmark that's had like some of the most reworking done to it, just to try and make it good. And maybe they've finally done it. The English now have the ability to council hall, do their normal feudal push. But say if they're against a civ that they don't want to do that against, let's say like a Rus that is pretty hard to push, even though their Kremlin got a bit of a nerf. Their Abbey of Kings now you produce it and it makes the king automatically gets queued up just like a shinobi would, which is very good. Now I don't know whether that makes them better than Abbasid. Like I don't know. Like is there a situation where I'm like, I definitely think they're going to be solid now, because like from being a very much a B tier civ, they have to have moved up, but where to? I'm gonna put them here again. We're getting to a phase where lots of these civs got bumped up. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's S tier now, but I don't want to too rush into things because they're still even if they get 2 TC. Like now, like you could do it before as well. It's just now you have a king, and you still have to get archery ranges and what have you. It's very interesting, very interesting. Alrighty. French. So what did French get? They got keeps are cheaper now, so they cost 810 stone instead of 900 for them. So it's like 10% cheaper. So the big difference for French there is on your first stone you can afford a second TC and a keep. There's no need to make a market to trade or get a second bit of stone going. You can get all that off the first stone. It's actually pretty decent. It is pretty decent. Unfortunately for French, Jeanne d'Arc exists. And Jeanne d'Arc is still just better. Still better. But French from being literally my bottom pick, I think they've gone up a little bit as well. I've actually played them a few games, and it does feel a lot more comfortable. I don't know if they got another change besides the keep change. I know Jeanne d'Arc now has like she does not get the +1 melee from the blacksmith for free. So there's been a little bit of change there between French and Jeanne, but I think French absolutely has matchups where it can fight actually, which is cool. I still think maybe they're a little bit weak. Like, if you play French against Jeanne d'Arc, I still think Jeanne d'Arc will kind of smack you, just because of Consecrate coming online early and having Jeanne. But, interesting. Alright. Now, this one for me, HRE, maybe the funniest change in general over the patch. HRE went from being... I would have probably put them B-ish tier. You know, not the best. But now they start with marching drills, aka what the frick. Like Dark Age, your spearmen, instead of moving 125, they move 138. That like if you just think about what that is exactly, that is you no longer need the blacksmith, and which is an H2 building. So no longer need the blacksmith, which is 150 wood, and then the upgrade, which is 50 food, 125 gold. So you technically, if you think about just that, you start off the game with an extra, 275 resource upgrade, which is massive. It's actually massive. Like, if you are HRE and you play Dark Age with a dock or a hybrid map, your spearmen are faster. You can pick and choose which fight you want to take. Huge. Normal maps, going like a barracks and an archer range and just playing that spearman archer game, so annoying to deal with. So annoying. Like it's actually like I've had maps where it's like I'm running around, they can't really catch me, and they might catch me with the horsemen, but I've got spearmen, so I deal with them. Their archers are trailing to try and deal with me, and I'm just denying eco. Like they're actually insanely good. Hatchery, banging. They absolutely have to be S tier now. I almost yeah, I think they're incredibly strong right now. And from being a B tier to an S tier Civ, you might be like, oh, it's just a free upgrade. It's a 275 resource upgrade for free. When you actually really think about it. In fact, is it more than that? Yeah, 325 resources. My bad. Bad at math. Um, yeah. But yeah, I think they're really good right now. Really good. Mongol. They don't receive any direct. They have a bit less stone now, right? In Dark Age or so. Where do I put Mongol? I feel if I put them on A tier, it's a bit too high for where I want to put them, but they're still not bad. Like, they're still not bad. Like, I'm going to put them there because they're not French tier. They're not Hatery tier. They're about in line with these, I'd say. But maybe it is B? I don't know. I still think they're quite solid. This is one that I might change in the future. They're all ones that I might change in the future, let's be real. But Mongol, not 100% with that. Because I think if you play on Rocky River, for example, with Mongol, and the fact they're still very good on hybrid, I think they're all right. But the power of HRE, like I've seen HRE players shut down Mongol in the most recent tournament, and it didn't look close. So this is definitely one that I'm not 100% on. Delhi, got to put Delhi high. Delhi is very solid. Has been for a long time. Not much has changed. Great archers, great Ghazi riders, good eco early on, good map presence. They make the game very uncomfortable for you. And you have to play their game immediately. There's some civs that kind of like playing against Delhi, such as like a China. There's some civs that really hate or hated playing against Delhi, such as Abbasid and English. Maybe that's changed massively now. But you can always say that Delhi is a good, solid civ. Like, never feels the best, but it's definitely not the worst. Malian, I'm going to say it's a little bit better than Mongol right now. But still, like, this is so different to previous tier lists, you know? So different in the sense that I don't think there's much separating these bunch. Like, it feels like there's a lot of very decent civs, and all of these, I feel, can fight Hatery to some degree. But still. Ibid. This is a civ I have to probably still put around here-ish. Maybe better than English. Maybe I'll put... Yeah, maybe I'll put it like that. So ordering it from left to right, basically, in terms of like how strong I think they are-ish. I still think Ibid is a good contender. I haven't truly learnt what I like to do with them yet. But I do think the fact that that Desert Raider wing is there, and the ability to have the 8 villager follow-up, and all their rush builds, like you hit castle, you can make a Manjanique straight away, and then you have that upgrade where if your infantry kill a unit, they get bonus damage. Makes your archers very good. Means that you're not as scared of like high armor units, and you've got a mango. Like, yeah, you have to respect that. And they get the 8 villager bonus as well. If you go a 2TC build against Ayabid and they get fast castle and then they're on the same workers as you, that's just a very solid place to be in. Alright, Byzantine. They also got a big buff. And Byzantine? Where do I put you, lads? Where do I put you? Where do I put them? I think I have to put them here, man. I have to put them here. I think Byzantine are actually legit Gosu. Legit Gosu. I think Hatery might be the best at the moment. But I tell you what, you can never ever count out Byzantine at the moment. They're just so good. The fact that they have like those different mercenary contracts, the fact that it got buffed so it doesn't cost oil and you can get it faster. They've got totally different playstyles as well. Like they technically, I mean, not if you include like the Cagnate Palace or whatever, they technically have the most units available. In fact, they do because they can use the marketplaces. So yeah, scratch that. Yeah, just a really good Civ. Really good Civ. It's amazing. They nerfed this research time. They made it 10 seconds instead of, so it went from 20 seconds to 0 to 10. So now if you misclick, I mean, you don't really feel it. It feels fast still. Um, I think that was a good change, honestly, because I misclicked a few times. All right, Japan. Japan. Where do you put Japan? Where do you put Japan? This is, I think Japan's actually a very tricky one because I'm like, where do I realistically put Japan? Is it better than China? Maybe, but maybe not. Is it better than Delhi? I'd probably say overall it's pretty similar. I'm gonna put Japan here. You know, in fact, look how big my eight. I've never had the A tier so big before. I've never had it so big before. That's crazy. I still Japan hasn't really had super giga buffs or nerfs in recent times. They've been that Civ that they've got changes. Like they tried to make monks a thing, but the way the mechanics work, like say if you have 10 monks in your army producing gold for you, if you attack move, you can have it so all 10 monks cast that debuff spell on one guy only, which that sucks. If it spread out, maybe you'd have totally different playstyles available for Japan. But right now it's pretty damn linear, isn't it? Like we've seen a lot of people start utilizing their archers a lot more with the Yumi Bannerman, which has been really really cool. So I don't even I think it's one of those civs that we haven't yet explored everything we can, but I think it's solid for sure. Um, Definitely think it's solid for sure. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's pretty good for now. Let's see, Mongol, or rather, we got Jean d'Arc next. Oh yeah, within regards to the Yashiros, like they changed it so they don't have Tithe Barns anymore. So if you get all 5 relics, it feels a bit bad because you're not getting Tithe Barns, but you get the extra 2 Yashiros, which if you get 0 relics, then the 2 extra Yashiros feels great. If you get 3 relics or so, because each Tithe Barn upgrade is technically 90 resources per relic. So if you think about it, if you had 2 relics and you upgrade Tithe Barns, you're technically better than the 2 Yashiro upgrade. But you get to pick and choose with these Shiro, which is nice. So it's one of those things where it's like you are technically a fast castle civ, so getting more relics feels good, but you also don't benefit as much as the other civs might. But every relic you deny from your opponent is good. Um, so yeah, I think some of those changes were a bit depends on the situation. Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc. Where do we put you? Because Jeanne d'Arc is very matchup dependent. Like, I've seen her go up against Mongol and win from, like, kind of bad positions, which is great. I've seen her go up against Malian, get absolutely trashed. Where do we put Jeanne d'Arc here? Like, against Delhi, it can be kind of awkward for the Delhi player. I'm pretty much... You know what? This is going to be the biggest A tier list of my life right now. It really is. I'm probably going to put her there, you know? I think there's almost more situations where I prefer these civs over Jean, even though she's definitely not bad. But yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Alrighty, alrighty. Maybe we need an A plus tier and a B and an A minus tier? You might be right, actually. Actually, let's go with A plus and then A minus, and we'll spread things out. B. Yeah, I like that actually. So hold on, let's. Yeah, okay. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I think that's what we have to go with here. All right, Order of the Dragon. Okay, Order boys out there. You tend to find that some of the Order boys are kind of like hatery boys as well. So I kind of have to put Japan here just because I feel that Japan has nice matchups and it's so good on hybrid. And the only reason Japan isn't like super damn good is because these other civs exist, obviously. But I still think like with Japan, you can fight against English, you can fight against China, you can fight against Delhi, you can fight against, like you can actually still fight against all these. I don't think there's necessarily a matchup where Japan gets slaughtered, you know, which makes me think it's just a good civ. And if you class A plus is like a good base for everything to be, yeah, I think Japan is pretty damn bang on what other civs are comfortable being, you know? So Order boys, apologies. Order is definitely, in my eyes, one of the weaker civs right now. It's very hard to get these guys right. It's very hard. They are just... I don't know. I have moments where I'm like, oh, I like it, it worked out well. Then but I have way more moments where I'm just like, my opponent literally only won because I'm Order. Like, I get that feeling so much. So much. And I'm just like, no matter what I do or what I get away with or how many risks I take that don't get caught in the butt, and I mean like going out, getting boar early on, without getting spotted at all. Like, I'm just still behind. And I check the eco upgrades and stuff at the end, and I'm just behind, even with massive risks. I just think Order kind of sucks. Which is unfortunate, because I would genuinely like to play them quite a bit. I think everybody's a bit lost with them. And right now, given that you literally have on this spectrum, Order on one side, Hater on the other, it's kind of a no-brainer. So yeah, definitely we need to think about what to do with Order. I'm almost tempted to put French in this tier, actually. Almost. Can't quite, though. Can't quite. Okay, Zhu Xi. Zhu Xi has had relatively small changes as time's gone by. Relatively small. Like Meditation Garden nerf, small bit. Definitely helped. We've had the wood eco being cheaper nerfed as well by a little bit. But yeah, Zhu Xi's got to a point now where Zhu Xi is pretty meh. Pretty meh. Like, if you play Zhu Xi against regular China, it has got to a point now where China's just better in every way now. And it kind of was the other way round before, eh? It's tricky. It's tricky. So, Zhu Xi, for the first time in a long time, I'm gonna have to put it. Yeah, it's behind French. It's still something that I feel I can play with to some degree. For example, like I think the Palace Guards at tier 2, age 2 even, very unexplored, and I actually think they're quite good. But their late game definitely feels lackluster and takes a long time to get online. For example, you almost have to like if you're playing true late game with them, you almost have to try and get Ming Dynasty just to try and get like both of those H4 landmarks online, like extra movement speed for your infantry being a buff, like the extra cavalry damage, extra range for your things, but for your bombards. But for that to really take effect, a lot of this stuff, you have to have the other one for the researchers available, such as like AoE bombards and Wan raiders and Imperial guards. So it's, and even when all that stuff is online, if I compare them with regular China just have higher health palace guards, like way higher health palace guards. They have hand cannoneers with range, and it's just like, well, crap, that's a way cheaper investment for them, and you know, and it's better. So I definitely think Zhu Xi need a little bit of tweaking. All right, Rus. I'm probably still going to put Rus pretty damn high. They didn't really receive too many big nerfs. They had like a small hunting cabin reduction time, which honestly, fairly negligible. Fairly negligible. I think it was an okay little nerf. Um, I also think, in general, the little Kremlin range nerf they got makes them a tiny bit more susceptible, but not too bad. The only reason I put them A plus is because I think they have a rather difficult time against those three. I haven't tried too much hatchery actually with them. Like again, this is just off what I've played. Like when I played Byzantine against Rus, I think Byzantine's good. We've seen Iobid go toe to toe with Rus before all these changes. I think that's a pretty solid place for Rus, actually. Pretty solid. Now, this next one, Ottoman, people have definitely been very much like, oh, where'd you put those now? Where'd you put those? Because you can't realistically say Ottoman is S tier anymore. You can't. Even though I still think Ottoman's very good. But where do you put Ottoman? It's very tricky because they still have a very good late game. They do. I still think they have good pressure. Would I rather have Ottoman over Mongol and Jean? I think so. I think I would in a draft. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to put them as. I think maybe a tiny bit ahead of Malian, is what I'll say. I think that's probably where I'd put them right now. Would they be ahead of Delhi in my picks? Maybe. Maybe here, actually. Even though Delhi is good. But Ottoman's good too. But Delhi's... Yeah, I think around here. Definitely a cool place for them to be. Yeah, I think that overall is what I'm going to go with. Now, this is strictly 1v1 tournament tier list because if I go by like what is the best for gold and stuff, honestly, I don't know. This is strictly like what I think is going to be performing the best at a top level. Now, just because these guys are S tier, I don't think Hatry necessarily has the greatest late game still. But you don't need the greatest late game if you're going to win games. Like Byzantine's late game's very good. There's a lot of civs listed here that have better late game than Hatry, honestly. But if you're winning games before it gets there, that's big. And if you've got such a head start getting into the late game, which Hatry very much have been a civ that hits late game faster than other civs. But if the other civ gains time to catch up, then their army is better. But yeah, I think this is what I'm going to go with because like Byzantine, very good late game. Rus, very good late game. Abbasid, amazing late game. As is English, China. Delhi can be. It's been getting Ottoman great late. Malian's very much a age 3-ish civ, but they can. And Japan's very good late game too. Jeanne d'Arc's amazing late. Maybe all those civs that I just mentioned might be better late than Hatchery, but Hatchery, the fact that they've just got this tempo now, yeah, it feels pretty awesome. Alrighty. Thank you for my TED talk. I mean my tier list here. This was a nice one to go about. And yeah, that will be that for now. Alrighty.